The future is a story the present invents, not a destination we are marching toward, and certainly not a pre-recorded film waiting to unfold. It is more like an improvised melody, played on an instrument we are still learning to hold. Yet how often we imagine the future as though it was somewhere already standing behind a curtain, waiting, fixed, shaped, established. As though life were a riddle and time were the answer. But consider a curious truth. Whenever you think of the future, you do so in this moment. You imagine tomorrow while sitting in today. You paint mental pictures that have not been authorized by reality. You sculpt fantasies and fears from nothing more than memory refracted through anticipation. And every stroke of imagination, every cautious prediction, every quiet worry is created here, not there. You never arrive at tomorrow. You stand only inside the echo of now. You see, the mind is a remarkable storyteller. It takes the past, polishes it, stretches it, blends it with longing, with regret, with expectation, and produces a narrative called later, a narrative called one day. Yet that story does not belong to the future at all. It belongs entirely to the storyteller. That storyteller is you. Some imagine that life is a line drawn forward from birth to death, a trail stretching into the distance. But lines are inventions of thought. Look closer and you find something more like a fountain. Experience bubbling up here, always here, never anywhere else. You do not step into the future. The present unfolds itself again and again, and we call the unfolding tomorrow. Imagine a person sitting by the sea, imagining where the tide will reach at dusk. They may estimate, they may speculate, they may worry. But the water will do what it does, not what imagination declares. The ocean is not guided by expectation. It moves according to deeper forces than thought. Life is very much like this. The tide does not arrive in the place you predict, yet it always arrives. We spend so much of our energy trying to outthink existence, trying to corner the unfolding, trying to guarantee that the script will read what we demand of it. Yet that demand is born from fear. Fear that something might go wrong. Fear that love might not stay. Fear that uncertainty will expose us. But uncertainty is life's very essence. The living world is movement. It is dance. It is improvisation. You cannot control the unknown by imagining it more vividly. You cannot take a picture of the future and store it in the wallet of the mind. Tomorrow is not shaped by prediction. Tomorrow becomes real only when it is experienced. Until then, it is fantasy. So what does this mean for those who feel lost when they cannot see ahead? It means that the future has always been a soft mirage, and mirages dissolve, not by solving them, but by noticing their nature. Once upon a time, a traveller stood before a gate. They were terrified of what lay beyond it. They thought of danger, of misfortune, of failure. Yet nothing lay beyond the gate. Nothing but an open field and the next step. The fear was not about the field, It was about the story their mind told about that field. And how often life works exactly that way. Whenever you imagine a future full of loss, you are worrying about something that does not exist. Whenever you imagine a future full of success, you are fantasizing about something that does not exist either. The future is never positive or negative. The storyteller assigns those qualities. The storyteller creates drama. The storyteller forms illusion. People say that they are afraid of what will happen, but that is impossible. One cannot fear what has not occurred. What we fear is the story, our own invention. The mind narrates its own possibilities and then trembles before its own invention. In truth, every person is a novelist. They write chapters that will never be lived. They construct dialogues that will never be spoken. They design disasters that will never emerge. And at the same time, they imagine triumphs that will never bloom. Yet while these invented worlds evaporate, they influence the heartbeat, the breath, the tension in the shoulders, the pulse beneath the skin. When you understand that you are authoring the future moment by moment, you realize something astonishing. You realize that the only real thing you can ever meet is the present. This moment is the horizon. This very breath is the future arriving as experience. So relax in it. There is no enemy here, nothing to chase, nothing to win, nothing to secure. Life will unfold itself without your supervision. Life unfolds the way a flower opens. Not because you command it to, not because you have memorized its petals in advance, but because opening is its nature. Notice that the flower never rehearses its blooming. It does not draft blueprints of tomorrow. It realizes itself through being. And you do the same. The illusion that you must get ahead of life is only a habit of thought, a reflex grounded in memory. Memory whispers that things were once uncertain, and so uncertainty must be controlled. But memory deals only with fragments. Memory is the shadow of what has already passed. It cannot see what has not yet bloomed. Still, we consult it like a prophet. We examine its archives and assume they reveal what will happen. That is like looking at dried leaves and predicting the shape of spring. It is not possible. Consider how often we chase prediction. We look into the future with hope, fear, or desperate ambition, believing that if only we could know, we could be safe. But safety is never delivered by certainty. Safety comes from presence. When you are here, truly here, even chaos cannot dislodge you. Even loss cannot uproot you. For the self that is rooted in presence is not a fragile thing. It is alive. It moves with life, not against it. Now we return to that simple paradox. The future is a story the present invents. That means every dream, every expectation, every dread you hold exists only as imagination. And imagination is creative, beautiful, playful. When you use imagination to paint the future with wonder, you are not predicting reality. You are expressing the heart's longing. You are sculpting possibilities out of thin air. That is art. And there is nothing wrong with that. But when imagination becomes a demand, when you say that life must unfold precisely in the shape you invented, when your idea becomes a contract, you will suffer. For existence does not negotiate with your fantasies. It cannot meet every demand. It can only reveal what is true. And what is true is always revealed now. The present moment is not a stepping stone. It is the arrival. There is nothing ahead of it. The horizon that you dream about arrives one breath at a time. Every sound, every sensation, every unfolding is the future becoming now. Therefore, you can begin to relax your grip, to soften your gaze, to walk, not sprint, to let life approach you rather than pursue it like a thief chasing treasure. There is a very old truth. The more you try to control the river, the more turbulent it becomes. Push against its current and it resists you. Relax into it and you float. It carries you without effort. You do not struggle, and yet you move. You arrive, though no destination was pursued. That is how the future arrives, not by conquest, but by participation, not by force, but by presence, not by calculation, but by surrender. This surrender is not resignation. It is not complacency. Surrender is trust. Trust that the same intelligence that forms galaxies, that opens the wings of a monarch butterfly, that pulses within your chest even as you sleep, is also shaping your life. You are not separate from that intelligence. You are not a visitor in this universe. You are the universe, expressing itself here, now. If tomorrow arrives and looks nothing like what you imagined, that is not failure, it is revelation. Existence reveals what imagination could not predict, and often what emerges is not worse than what you expected, it is simply different. And in that difference is the mysterious unfolding of meaning. Look at your life so far. Many things you feared never came to pass. Many things you hoped for arrived in forms you could never have foretold. Paths unfolded that did not exist in your mind's architecture. People appeared who were never part of your predictions. Beauty presented itself unannounced. Loss arrived uninvited. Both shaped you, both transformed you. Now see what has always been happening. You were never walking toward the future. The future was rising up beneath your feet, like a wave lifting a ship. You are carried, not pulled. And every time you try to anchor to certainty, you become heavy. When you release, you rise. So allow life to lift you. Allow tomorrow to form itself, not according to demand, but according to truth. And even when fear appears, even when uncertainty breathes its cold wind upon your neck, remember this: that fear is not about what will come. It is about a story you authored, a projection, a fiction. And when you see that, the fear dissolves, like mist touched by sunlight. In this moment, you are meeting the future. Not by waiting, not by preparing, simply by being here. The present cannot be improved by anticipation. It does not need embellishment. Life is complete at every unfolding. So take a breath. Let it fall into the body. Feel how effortlessly it arrives, how it leaves without your command. The inhale is the future coming into form. The exhale is the past dissolving back into silence. And between the two is this moment, this awareness. The story you have been writing can be rewritten. The imagination need not frighten you. The narrator can stop mid-sentence because the ending was never meant to be known, only lived. Walk gently. Meet life as it reveals itself. For tomorrow is not waiting. It is becoming now.